Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 76 of the 76-game season. That's right, folks. It means we're in the last game of the year here at Lindquist Field in Ogden, Utah. Zach Frazier on the mic for the Provo Angels, as the Angels who sit in first place and have clinched the Southern Division in the second half of the season, with it come into tonight's game with a 24-13 record. They are 9 games up on the last place Ogden Raptors, who come in the second half 15-22. Ogden overall 34-40 on the year. Provo with a 44-31 mark, best in the Pioneer League. Tonight, the last game of the regular season, as the Angels will prepare to head to Idaho Falls tonight to take on the Chuckers in Game 1 of the divisional series tomorrow night from McDermott Field. There is one more game left to be played, and it is a spirited one, as Ogden and Provo have developed quite a little rivalry here in 2004. Rather, I say maintain a rivalry, as that rivalry began when the Provo Angels moved to town in 2001. The managers are shaking hands and exchanging lineups right now. Crowd is filling in nicely. A record crowd expected, well over 4,000 are expected to fill Lindquist Field tonight for not only the baseball game but for fireworks after. Hopefully the Angels offense will be able to provide the same kind of fireworks that they did last night. They scored 10 runs on 16 hits, did not commit an error. However, lost to the Raptors 11-10, the final score. Despite the fact that Provo out-hit Ogden 16-13, a road-weary Angels team was unable to pick up the win. If you didn't hear from your son or from the newspaper or from our website, ProvoAngels.com, here's a quick recap of yesterday's adventure. Following Saturday night's loss to the Casper Rockies, the Angels boarded a bus in Casper, Wyoming, and amidst rain and strong winds left town, only to have the bus break down at 2:30. The bus was repaired, got back on the road outside of Rawlins, Wyoming. 45 miles later, the bus went down again, and the Angels were stranded in the middle of the Wyoming desert. A replacement bus was not able to be sent until 7 o'clock in the morning, so the Angels were picked up at about 11:30, turned around, and headed back to Ogden. They arrived less than 90 minutes before the start of the game. Came out and promptly put 2 runs on the board and battled back and forth in an offensive slugfest. So the Angels, despite their difficulties and lack of sleep yesterday, performed admirably. Spent the night in a beautiful hotel, the Marriott, just right across the street, and are ready to go here, looking to take the last game of the season from the Ogden Raptors. We're going to take a brief pause, give you a chance to listen into the stadium atmosphere a little bit, and we'll be back with the starting lineups and the first pitch from Lindquist Field. You're listening to Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
Through scholarship programs and other exciting things. So Tracy Waters, take it away.
Thank you, Dave, and welcome to the Angels in Lindquist Field. Tonight, the Varsity Club has a couple of presentations we'd like to make right now. So, if Joe and Katie Hernandez is just come out. Now we're going to bring it right over to Mr.
What time is it? That's what Joe Hernandez has been saying here for a lot of years. When I started coming, that's the first time I saw him, he was doing that. For 11 years now, Joe and Kenny Hernandez have been coordinating the whole family program with the Ogden Raptors. He's doing a great job. Blake DeWitt, I know it's a lot of work to do that. We've also been great supporters of Ogden baseball and the Raptors. And back at Sir Simmons Field when it was independent. Also here was the Milwaukee Brewers, now the Los Angeles Dodgers. We appreciate all that they've done. And we have a plaque here from the Ogden Raptors and the Dynasty Club recognized 11 years that they did great support for the baseball here in Ogden.
Welcome back to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. This is Zach Frazier bringing you the action tonight live from Lindquist Field in Ogden, Utah. The Ogden Raptors and the Provo Angels finishing off the regular season in 2004. As we mentioned before, Provo on top of the Pioneer League South Division with a 24-13 record in the second half. They clinched both the first half and the second half, making them the regular season champions of the Southern Division. They'll take on the Idaho Falls Chuckers tomorrow in Game 1 of the divisional playoffs for the right to play the championship series for the Pioneer League in 2004. Let's take a quick look at tonight's starting pitchers. For the Ogden Raptors, it'll be Justin Ruggiano. Ruggiano is a 6'4", 205-pound right-hander from Chesapeake, Virginia. Was a first-round conditional draft pick of the Los Angeles Dodgers, so one of many first-rounders here on the Raptors squad, and the second first-round pick to face the Angels from the pitcher's mound in as many nights. He pitched last for Virginia Commonwealth University and comes in with a 2-3 record, a 5.12 ERA. Has walked 22, struck out 52, and opponents have a 292 batting average against him. So the Angels have their work cut out against the first rounder. Provo will throw rookie left-hander Kelly Shear. Shear was drafted by the Anaheim Angels in 2003 in the 14th round. Came up about 2 weeks ago from Mesa and is making his second appearance, his first start on the year. Shear, a left-hander, in his brief work, has walked one, struck out one, and opponents are hitting .500 against him. So an opportunity for the young guy to make an impression here against a very potent Raptors lineup. Let's take a quick look at some of the game notes. We'll notice that the Raptors are on pace to draw more than 130,000 fans this year. So congratulations to the Raptors organization as they've done a wonderful job of promoting baseball. The Angels will look to give them a run for their money next year as Parkway Crossing Stadium will open, and the Angels will call that home at least for the next 10 years. Parkway Crossing Stadium, a little update, now has lights, and the sod is laid, or was scheduled to be laid this week. So the Angels' home of the future coming to fruition. The Angels will also be hosting a playoff game on Wednesday night, starting at 7 o'clock. Wednesday, September 8th, will be a big night for Angels fans, as Deseret First Credit Union will be giving away one trip to Disneyland, a $500 CD, and Lovesack of Provo will be giving away a Lovesack. So a big night for Angels fans to make it out to the ballpark. And while the Raptors are in the process of doing season awards, and congratulations to various people in the community, we're going to take a quick look at the lineups for tonight. For the home Ogden Raptors, David Nicholson will lead off and play short. Second baseman Travis Denker will hit second. Denker, of course, giving the Angels fits last night. Denker came up in the 6th inning and hit a 2-run home run. That was the centerpiece to the Raptors' 5-run sixth. The Raptors last night had an inning where they put 4 across the board and an inning where they put 5, and that ended up being the difference as the Angels lost 11-10. Batting third will be Blake DeWitt, and he'll play third base. So no change in the first 3 batters nor their positions. Hitting cleanup will be Corey Dunlap instead of being the designated hitter as he was last night. He'll play first base. Chris Westervelt, the catcher from last night, is still in the lineup and batting 5th. However, he will be the DH tonight. Justin Ruggiano will bat 6th and play center field. Ruggiano, the Sports Network player of the game, as he went 1 for 3 with a double and 3 RBIs last night. Dan Bass will bat 7th and play left field. B.J. Richmond will bat 8th and play right field. And batting 9th will be the catcher, Mike Lynch. Of course, they will be behind pitcher Justin Ruggiano. Leading things off for the Angels as they will bat in the top of the first will be center fielder Richard Giannotti. He'll be followed by third baseman Nate Sutton. Batting third will be the big bat from last night, Josh LeBlanc. LeBlanc at second base tonight. 2 for 5 last night with 2 2-run home runs and 4 RBI. One blast that cleared the right field wall, and LeBlanc came up to the plate the next time and went opposite field to left field. So LeBlanc having a big night last night here at Lindquist Field. Batting fourth will be the shortstop Sean Rodriguez. Batting fifth will be designated hitter Andrew Toussaint. Batting sixth will be the hot-hitting Michael Hughes. Hughes will be in left field as he has seen his average continue to climb, just a shade under 200 now, but he has really been hitting the ball well of late. Batting seventh will be first baseman Cliff Remley, back in the lineup after a night off last night. Batting eighth will be right fielder J.R. Renz, and batting ninth will be catcher Brett Martinez, called back to the Angels after catcher Ben Johnson sustained a back injury. Johnson is day-to-day with a muscle strain in his lower back. Will most likely have to be out 3 to 5 days. However, if the Angels make it to a championship round, will be available. So Martinez back in the lineup, back after a short stay with both the Angels and a 3-game stay with Cedar Rapids. And they will be behind pitcher Kelly Shearer. So a couple of new faces in the Angels lineup here tonight at Lindquist Field. And as they continue to congratulate Raptors managers and coaches, as well as community dignitaries, we're going to take a brief pause. We'll be back with the national anthem in the first pitch here at Lindquist Field. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
But before that, I have to recognize America Online. They graciously decided to donate $50 for every home run hit at home this season. Going into tonight's game, the Raptors have hit a franchise record 71 home runs, I believe it is. 45 of them which have been hit at home. So in a row, we'll be donating so far going into tonight's game $2,250 for youth impact. Okay, our first award is for the most valuable pitcher. There was a tie, so the players decided to honor them both. The first winner appeared in every game as a starter and threw 49 and 2/3 innings, where he struck out 45 batters. He compiled a 2-3 record, and the opponent's batting average against him was only .253. Our second winner compiled a 3-3 record, where he started 12 games out of his 13 appearances. He threw 57 innings, where he struck out 57 batters while walking only 19. A great strikeout-to-walk ratio. The 2004 most valuable pitchers are number 29, Scott Albert, and number 45, Blake Johnson. Go ahead, stay on, guys. Next is our most valuable defensive player. This player committed only 11 errors all season long. And each night, he definitely showed up the left side of the infield like he did last night, with his consistency and his hustle and his great play up the middle. The 2004 most valuable defensive player goes to number 5, David Nicholson.
Welcome back to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. The start of tonight's game being delayed just a tad as the Angels and Raptors will get set to play the last game of the season. The Raptors doing all of their season-ending awards and ceremony show tonight, as it is the last game of the year for the Raptors. So instead of the typical 7 o'clock start, we will be pushed back a few minutes as they do all of their congratulatory awards to players and coaches, as well as dignitaries throughout the community that are in the crowd tonight. The Angels will also, as we mentioned before earlier on, welcome back Brett Martinez, who will be added as the third catcher on the Angels roster. Marlon Solorzano will be has been called up to Cedar Rapids, and earlier this afternoon, Brett Martinez joined the Angels at their hotel at the Marriott. So some changes as far as the Angels are concerned as they prepare for the playoffs. A bit banged up is the team, but quickly recovering, and certainly will enjoy the short road trip to Idaho Falls tonight and take on the Chuckers tomorrow night. We're going to be joined later on in the broadcast in the 6th inning by a gentleman by the name of Glenn Orton. Orton, who was in Provo last week and also in Casper with the team, just by chance, mind you, is a gentleman from Maryland, I believe, who is in his last ballpark tonight of a nationwide ballpark tour, that started about 17 years ago. He has now visited every major and minor league ballpark, including 30-some-odd parks that are no longer active throughout professional baseball. So we'll be able to talk to him, have him give us his impression of the different fields he's seen. If any man would know the difference between crowds and stadiums, it would certainly be this gentleman who has been everywhere you could possibly go to see professional baseball in North America. So we have a great night coming up here, not to mention the fact that the Angels will look to take care of the Ogden Raptors. The season series right now stands at 9-7 in favor of the Provo Angels, as they will look to move to 10-7, 10 wins versus 7 losses between these two teams. So once again, we'll take a brief pause and be back with the national anthem and the starting lineups, not to mention the first pitch. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
We have one more game, so we'll shout it. We'd like you to recognize yourself by giving yourselves a round of applause, and we say thank you very much and hope to see you again soon. Once again, folks, the 2004 Ogden Raptors. One final award goes to Hannah Dimmick. She was the winner of the new car stereo from the Hi-Fi Shop in Roy. We've been taking entries all summer long. She's won that car stereo from the Hi-Fi Shop. Please come up to the press box to play your car. Keep it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with the ball game. Let's read the starting lineup for your Ogden Raptors. Leading off with shortstop number 5, David Nicholson. Line second for 7 base for the 48, Travis Denker. Line third for third base, number 6, Blake DeWitt. Line fourth, first base for number 51, Corey Dunlap. Line fifth for number 23, Chris Roosevelt. Line sixth for center field, number 18, Justin Ruggiano. Line seventh for right field, number 50, Dan Black. Line eighth for right field, number 17, DJ Richardson. Line ninth for center, number 49, Buck Place. Starting out now for right field, number 46, Justin Ruggiano. Once again, the Raptors with that call. Travis Carpenter, the pitching coach is Sid Kelly, hitting coach is Sid Mack, and the trainer is Robert Pickard. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please line, stay supplied, and set up to it. Remove your caps and join Bobby and Richie, the Cat Brothers, as they sing our national anthem.
Through the perilous time, o'er the
Welcome back to Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. We are finally done with the awards ceremonies, and we are set to get underway here with the last game of the regular season between the Provo Angels and the Ogden Raptors. Your Provo Angels right now stand in first place in the second half, 24-13. Ogden in fourth place at 15-22. This is game 17 of the season series, with the Angels maintaining right now a 9-7 lead in games one. Overall, the Provo Angels with the best record in the Pioneer League at 44-31. The Raptors middle of the pack at 34-40. As both teams were in the hunt for the playoff spot in the first half of the season. The Angels finishing one half game over both the Raptors and tied with Idaho Falls Shuckers, however, winning the tiebreaker due to their lead in the season series at that point in time. Idaho Falls, of course, clinched second place, with Provo racing out to a sizable lead in the second half. Nobody able to catch them. Therefore, three teams were playing for second place and the right to face the Provo Angels in the divisional playoffs. The Raptors lost out on that opportunity as Idaho Falls clinched this past week second place, thus the opportunity to face the Angels starting tomorrow. Let's take a look defensively at the Ogden Raptors as we're ready for the first pitch. Dan Batts gets to start again in left field. Justin Ruggiano in center, and DJ Richmond is in right. Blake DeWitt, David Nicholson, Travis Denker, and Corey Dunlap from third to first. Behind the dish is Mike Lynch, and Justin Ornduff is doing the catching. Justin Ornduff is doing the pitching. Mike Lynch is doing the catching for the Ogden Raptors. Richard Giannotti will lead things off. Giannotti on the season, .244 with 3 home runs and 22 RBIs. Comes into the game third in the league with 20 stolen bases. Giannotti batting from the left side of the plate against the right-handed Ornduff. Looks at ball one. Mike Lusky and Ray Prauner tonight's umpires. Lusky behind the plate and Prauner in the field, flip-flopping from where they were last night. The 1-0 on the way. Giannotti rips it down the first base line. Corey Dunlap knocks it down out of the air and races Giannotti to the bag. Steps on it for the first out. Giannotti getting good wood on that, but right at the first baseman, Dunlap. As I mentioned, well over 4,000 people so far already through the gates here at Lindquist Field. They're expecting more. A sellout crowd for the last game of the season and fireworks show. The delivery from Ornduff to Nate Sutton catches the outside corner, 0-1. Sutton at third base tonight comes into the game with a .333 average, 1 home run and 34 RBIs. The pitch is grounded back to the middle. Second baseman Travis Denker will pick it up and throw on the run to get Sutton by the step. So it'll bring Josh LeBlanc to the plate. LeBlanc, of course, the big night last night on that. The same afternoon that his mother celebrated a birthday. 2 for 5 with two-run home runs and 4 RBI. One of those 2-run home runs gave the Angels the lead. Another tied the game up at 10. However, the Angels did eventually lose 11-10. The first pitch to LeBlanc is down low, ball 1. I'd like to thank the Takis family of Pacific Palisades, California for providing this opportunity for Angels fans, proud sponsors of the Sports Juice broadcast, as Ornduff misses outside and the count is now 2-0. The pitch on the way, again outside. And LeBlanc, who's showing a burst of power here towards the end of the season, not likely to get a pitch he can hit here at 3-0. The delivery on the way. Taken on the inside corner, 3-1. LeBlanc taking all the way. Ornduff comes set, starts his windup. The pitch on the way is ripped down the left field line, but curving foul into the overflow bleachers. Packed to capacity tonight. Great atmosphere here at Lindquist Field. The northern Wasatch Mountains, the backdrop. 3 balls and 2 strikes now the count. 2 out, the pitch on the way. Taken outside, ball 4. And the Angels have a base runner here in the first. LeBlanc, a dangerous base runner with 15 stolen bases on the year. could be looking to do something. Tom Kochman down the third base line, the manager of the year in 2004 in the Pioneer League. And first base coach Rick Wilkins filling in for Kevin Ham, who is with his wife right now, expecting a baby any day now. Sean Rodriguez steps to the plate and swings at a fastball, strike one. Rodriguez, 342 on the year with 10 home runs and 55 RBIs. Still finds himself in the top 10 of the league as far as hitting is concerned. The pitch on the way, taken up and away, ball one. Not to mention, in the top 10 of just about every major offensive category. Is second right now in on-base percentage to the Ogden Raptors' Corey Dunlap with a .491 average. The pitch taken up high, ball two. Mike Lusky flinched a little bit, looking like he was going to call that strike two. Instead, Rodriguez now has a 2-1 count. Warren Duff, with his unusual stretch position, with his left foot way off towards first base. Rodriguez swings and pops it up down the first base line. Corey Dunlap will make the catch in front of the Angels dugout. So the Angels bring four to the plate, walk one, but do not pick up any hits. We'll head to the bottom of the first. The Angels and Raptors scoreless at Lindquist Field.
Gene Forford and Alex Wilson to the third base gate. Gene Forford, Alex Wilson to the third base gate. Folks, we're going to have a discount on the canned beer tonight. Wild surprise last, because we don't want to have to keep it. All 12-ounce cans of beer is going to be half price at $1.50. Same thing with the peanut. The peanuts, a big bag of peanuts for $1.50. Wild supplies last. Plus, a discount comes by souvenirs. The Ogden Raptors batting helmets, the logo baseball, and the mini bats. Any one of those three, two for $5 to the entire night. The logo balls, the mini bats, and the batting helmets, two for $5.
Welcome back to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. This is Zach Frazier, the voice of the Provo Angels. We're here at Lindquist Field in Ogden, Utah, as the Angels and Raptors wrap up their regular season. Kelly Shearer, the Angels pitcher tonight, the left-hander from Missouri City, Texas, was drafted in the 14th round of the 2003 draft. Was called up after spending much of the season with the Mesa Angels down in the Arizona League. Behind him defensively, Michael Hughes gets the start in left field. Richard Giannotti in center and J.R. Renz in right. Nate Sutton at third. Sean Rodriguez at short. Josh LeBlanc at second. And Cliff Remley at first. With Brett Martinez behind the mound. And the first pitch to David Nicholson, the leadoff man for the Raptors, is taken up high, ball one. Shearer does not have a record here at Provo and has only seen action in one game. He misses high and away, ball two. Provo Angels in their road grays and dark blue caps with white P's as their road uniforms. And Shearer delivers the first strike of the game for an Angels pitcher. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count to shortstop David Nicholson. Nicholson, Travis Denker, and Blake DeWitt due up here in the bottom half of the first. We're in a scoreless ball game just underway in Ogden, Utah. The 2-1 misses down and in at 3-1 now to count. Shearer with his socks up high. Starts his windup. The pitch on the way. 3-1 taken high and away. Ball 4. So a little early game jitters perhaps for the left-hander. Very talented young man. Comes in only 19 years old. So young and talented and left-handed. Things look good for Kelly for the future. And this is a perfect opportunity to get used to pitching in front of big crowds. Like I said, a packed house here at Lindquist Field. fans as far as the eye can see. The pitch on the way to number 2 hitter Travis Denker is taken outside, ball 1. No outs, bottom of the first inning, no score. The Raptors do have their leadoff man, David Nicholson, thanks to a walk. And Travis Denker stands in with a 1-0 count, takes the pitch inside and low, ball 2. So Shear struggling to hit his spots here early on. The Angels will certainly count on their bullpen when it comes time to the playoffs, and Shear is a valuable member of that staff. He catches the outside corner with an off-speed delivery, and the count is now 2-1. Shear was called up at the same time that Jason Corbett and Rafael Cruz joined the team, along with Alexis Casilla. So an influx of talent to deepen the Angels' bench and their bullpen for the playoffs. He misses outside, and the count is now 3-1. This is Shear's first Pioneer League start. He comes set, the pitch on the way, lifted foul down the right field line, out over the crinted paint and glass building just beyond the right field bleachers. And the count is full. Feel free, folks, to send me an email if you have any questions or any comments, or just want to tell me how poorly a job I'm doing. Feel free to let me know. The pickoff move to first, they have Nicholson caught. The throw down to second in time. Nice job by both Kelly Shear and Cliff Remley. The relay on to Rodriguez. More than enough time, and the first runner is picked off. Very, very deceptive move by Kelly Shear. So Nicholson is picked off 1-3-6 for the first out of the bottom of the first. The count now 3-2 with 1 out to Travis Denker. He swings and misses, strike 3. So Shear bouncing back after struggling through the first 6 or 7 pitches, picking up his confidence here thanks to that pickoff move. And that'll bring the number 3 hitter to the plate, Blake DeWitt. DeWitt also in the lineup at third base last night. Had a single and a double, and also walked and scored 2 runs. The pitch is taken up high, ball 1 in this lefty versus lefty matchup. Shear comes set, the pitch on the way, swung on and foul tipped off the glove of catcher Brett Martinez. If you're just listening in or just tuning in for the first time in a couple days, Ben Johnson hurt his back Saturday night in Casper. Nothing serious, but will be a good 3 to 5 days to allow it to heal. Just rest and heat and ice is the apparent prescription for relief as Shear delivers a curveball. Nice breaking pitch that catches the outside corner. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 out to number 3 hitter Blake DeWitt. DeWitt on the season, 285. Swings and misses, strike 3. So after walking the first batter, Shear picks him off, then comes back and strikes out the next 2. Strong first inning for the rookie from Missouri City, Texas. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
From one of our great sponsors, that's Palmer Pest Control. I'd like to thank them for their sponsorship. Okay, guys, on the mark, you're set, go! First base is our winner. Let's give them both nice round of applause. Alex Wilson, Denker. Now the Claxton Elton to the third base gate. Claxton Elton to the third base gate, please. To the page 24, 26, and 28, your 2-year program. If you have a signed sticker on the player pages, you just want a free hot dog, courtesy of Hebrew Hospital. Our thanks to Dr. Hebrew Hospital for their sponsorship. Turn to page 29. Signed sticker of the Papa John's Pizza. Just let you people up coupon, courtesy of Papa John's event. Take your program to the customer service booth to claim your card. For the Angels in the second leading off, second David Harris and then Andrew Toussaint.
Welcome back to Lindquist Field, Provo Angels baseball on SportsJuice.com with Zach Frazier, your voice to the action. Andrew Toussaint will lead things off here in the top half of the second. Michael Hughes to follow, and Cliff Remley batting third this inning against Justin Ornaduff. We are scoreless and just underway at Lindquist Field. The pitch to Toussaint is taken low and away, ball one. So Kelly Shearer, impressive in his first inning with a pair of strikeouts. And not allowing a hit to pitch on the way. Catches the outside corner, 1-1. If you're tuning in for the first time, if this is your first time catching Provo Angels baseball on SportsJuice.com, the 1-1 curveball that catches the inside corner, 1-2 now to Toussaint. Just to let you know, we are commercial free. There are no commercials on this service. And so, one, to let you know that you're staying connected to the game, and two, to give you that ballpark atmosphere as Toussaint looks at ball two, evening the count at 2 apiece. You will hear, however faintly, the stadium action in between innings. We will not tune out or mute the mic, so you'll feel a little bit more like you're at the ballpark. The 2-2 down low and away. The count is now 3-2. Angels looking to jump in front here in a scoreless ball game. The pitch from Ornaduff to Toussaint swung on and fouled into the Raptors dugout down the third baseline. Some dimensions here at Lindquist Field, 335 down the left field line, 390 to the gap in left, in between left field and center field. In center field, it's 387. Swing and a miss, or swing and a foul tip back to the screen. Count remains at 3-2. And then the fence dives in sharply. It raises first to 24 feet instead of the 20 feet that it is all the way around the park. Dives into 350 feet in one of the gaps in right center. The pitch again, the foul back to the screen. Toussaint giving Ornaduff a run for his money here. Then jumps back out to 365. And remains at 24 feet. The fence swing, and it's foul checked. Check swing, foul tipped into the crowd. As Toussaint did not mean to swing, tried to stop, but did get a piece. And sends the fan down the first base line, home with a souvenir tonight. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch from Ornaduff, swinging a ground ball to the third base side. Blake DeWitt is up with it on the backhand. The fire cross to first base in time. And the Angels have one out here in the top of the second. And then from 365, the wall cuts back in all the way to 334 down the right field line. So interesting dimensions here at Lindquist Field. It is built to be a retro park, a throwback to parks of old, as Michael Hughes swings at a fastball, strike one. Hughesy on the year, 193. With no home runs and 15 RBIs. Those numbers do not tell the story, however, as he has improved his hitting over the last 3 weeks and is one of the more potent hitters in the Angels lineup as of late. Takes ball one outside. Signed as a free agent in 2004. Played last for the University of Illinois, Chicago. Swings at a slider way out of the strike zone. And misses strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Hughes. He'll be followed by Cliff Remley here in the top half of the second. Steps back into the batter's box. Ornaduff ready to pitch on the way. Tries to check his swing. Could not as he again chases the pitch out of the strike zone. And Hughes is the first strikeout victim of the evening for Justin Ornaduff. I'll bring Cliff Remley to the plate. Remley on the year, 277 with 1 home run and 24 RBIs. The left-hander looks at a fastball on the outside corner, strike 1. Orndorff comes set. Remley looks at the pitch low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike now to count. We'll take a look at some Pioneer League scores. Although they are meaningless, all 4 teams for the playoffs have been decided. Remley swings and fouls the pitch down the third base line and off the facade in front of the grandstand. And the count moves to 1-2. Be sure to join the Provo Angels Wednesday night at Miller Field in Provo, Utah for Game 2 of the Southern Division Series in Round 1 of the Pioneer League playoffs. Deseret First Credit Union will be giving away a trip to Disneyland as well as $500 as Remley looks at ball 2, a curveball that misses outside. And the Love Sack of Provo will be giving away a Love Sack, a value of about $175 as the pitch is swung on and lined foul back over the grandstand and out of play. So a big night ahead for the Angels at Miller Field, technically called Miller Park because it includes the softball complex of the BYU Cougars as well. The pitch on the way from Orndorff, a little bloop into left field, giving chase is Dan Batts. He will catch it just in foul territory past the line, and the Angels go down in order. So we'll head to the bottom of the second. We're scoreless here in Ogden, Utah. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
There you go. Keep going, honey. Thank you, Mr. Umpire. Okay, Boston, that's the word. He's taking him on now. That's the one we're going to do, 30. Okay, Boston, you got to head home, huh? Okay, off, folks. Keep going, Boston, keep going. All right, that's you got it out, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get our trouble going. The second question goes out to this one, ladies and gentlemen. One hit not played. David Davis to the third base gate. David Davis to the third base gate. Once again, we'd like to remind you that our top boys are sponsored first on the Frank Penguin to the action. One final thank you goes out to the voice of the Raptors. Done a fantastic job for many years for us now. Give a nice round of applause for our radio man, Brian Sakata.
So Kelly Shear back on the hill here in the bottom of the second inning. An impressive first inning for the lefty as he will face off against the big hitter in the Raptors lineup, Corey Dunlop, batting fourth. Chris Westervelt and Justin Ruggiano to follow here in the second. So this lefty versus lefty matchup, Dunlop hitting .354 on the year. Grounds the first pitch to Sean Rodriguez. He'll scoop it up and fire to first in time to beat the slow Corey Dunlop. Rodriguez had bobbled the ball. Nice job to scoop that out of the air. And so Dunlop retired 6-3 on the play. As this place is just crawling with people. Chris Westervelt will come up to the plate. Westervelt, the DH in last night's game. Didn't hit the ball extremely well, the DH in tonight's game was the catcher in last night's game. Takes the first pitch on the outside corner. No balls and one strike. Did not hit the ball extremely well last night, however. Was a part of the Raptors' 11-10 victory. Swings and fouls the pitch off. No balls and two strikes, now the count. So Shearer out ahead of Westervelt from the right side of the plate. Shearer tries to get the catcher slash designated hitter to chase one, does not, and the count is now 1-2. Westervelt on the year, hitting .345 with 10 home runs and 37 RBIs. As Shearer misses down low, and the count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Of course, Angels baseball on SportsJuice.com made possible by the Takis family from Pacific Palisades, California, as Westervelt swings through an off-speed pitch for strikeout number 3. Third strikeout on the night for Shearer, second out of the inning, and that'll bring Justin Ruggiano to the plate. Ruggiano last night 1 for 3 with a double, a run scored, and 3 RBIs. Swings and misses, strike 1. So Shearer, who struggled in his first outing, only went 2/3 of an inning and gave up. Coming into the game with a 54.00 earned run average, is looking impressive here early on. As the count moves to 1-1, the pitch outside. Ruggiano swings and fouls the pitch back just to my right, out over the first base side, and the count moves to 1-2. Ruggiano, a product of the Texas A&M Aggies. The pitch from Shearer misses down low. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 out. The tradition here at Lindquist Field is to take off your hat as the PA announcer says, "Deuces." Everybody shakes their hats. It's supposed to be good luck. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Not good luck tonight. As Ruggiano goes down on strike, so that's 4 now for the young lefty. We head to the top of the third with the Angels and Raptors scoreless. You're listening to Zach Frazier and Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
Two Raptor logos, but no Goodwill Auto Plaza. And this day, Dennis and I have applause for Goodwill Auto Plaza basketball contract. And a special thank you goes out to our sponsorship funds. For their participation, Goodwill Auto Plaza, now at 3160 Wall Avenue. Turn to page 17 in your souvenir program. You have a signed sticker on the Keepa Inn bag. We just won a free-night sale with the Keepa Inn in Lakeland. Turn to page 16. You have a signed sticker on the Fazoli bag. We just won a free sample product courtesy of Fazoli. Turn to page 20. If you have a signed sticker on Raptors Skipper Thomas Farmer's photo, you just won a 24-pack of Coca-Cola courtesy of Showers Coca-Cola. And in your program, don't remember to pay for the Snyder Sweet Pack. If you've got a signed sticker on the Snyder Sweet Pack, you just won a bunch of meat, pork chops, steak, hamburger, chicken. All courtesy of our friends at Snyder's Meat.
Welcome back to SportsJuice.com and Provo Angels Baseball, brought to you by the Takis family of Pacific Palisades, California. Zach Frazier on the mic for the last game of the season here at Lindquist Field. J.R. Renz to lead things off for the Angels. He'll be followed by Brett Martinez and back to Richard Giannotti at the top of the order. The pitch from Orndorff is swung on and popped up foul down the first base line and out of play. No balls and 1 strike to count. Renz on the year, .284 with 8 home runs and 45 RBIs. So has 18 doubles to his credit. He's one of the 4 players tied at 18, putting him in the top 10 of the league as far as doubles are concerned. He looks at ball 1, evening the count at 1 apiece. Of course, you can visit ProvoAngels.com for all of your Angels scores, highlights, pictures, and statistics, not to mention a chance to win $2,500 from minor league baseball by taking their fan demographic survey. JR swings through the slider and misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes now the count. The pitch on the way. Swing and foul tipped back to the screen. Count remains at 1-2. You can also get real-time scores and statistics from throughout the Pioneer League and Major League Baseball at ProvoAngels.com by visiting the website and clicking on the Stats and Scores link. Service provided to you by the Provo Angels in conjunction with the Sports Network and Boyd Interactive. As Renz looks at the pitch outside and low, 2-2. Twilight falling here at Lindquist Field. Sun setting behind the stadium. Red swings and misses. Strike 3. Ball gets away from Mike Lynch, the catcher. The throw to first just in time to get Renz at first. And Ornduff has his second strikeout of the afternoon/evening. That'll bring Brett Martinez to the plate. Martinez just recently called back to the Provo Angels, was the bullpen catcher for the Cedar Rapids Colonels, but brought back when Ben Johnson injured his back. The right-handed batter looks at ball 1. Martinez had spent 3 games with the Angels before going to Cedar Rapids. The pitch on the way from Warren, now swinging a foul tip down into the Angels' dugout down the first baseline. And the throw from home plate umpire Mike Lusky sails over the head of Ornduff. See why he's behind the plate and no longer playing the game. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. To Martinez. Ornduff gets set, the pitch on the way, swinging a line drive foul into the stands. People ducking as that just goes over their head and out of play. 1-2 now the count. At ProvoAngels.com, you can also see pictures of the developing Parkway Crossing Stadium to be the home of the Provo Angels in 2005. The pitch is lifted high into shallow left field. David Nicholson going over back behind the third baseman, Blake DeWitt. He reels it in for the second out. So that'll bring Richard Giannotti back to the plate. Giannotti 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Grounded out to first baseman Corey Dunlap back in the first inning. Hit the ball extremely hard, but Giannotti was being played to pull as he squares to bunt and looks at ball 1, pulls his bat back. Did not offer, said Mike Lusky. Giannotti, a University of Miami, Florida product, played this year in the College World Series. Pitch is swung on and missed, strike 1. Way out ahead of an off-speed pitch. And as always, we send our well wishes to players' families in Florida and the environs of Hurricane Francis as Giannotti swings and misses, strike 2. Fooled by a slider. Hope that everything is okay and that you folks are safe. 1-2 the count, 2 out. The pitch taken up high, ball 2. And Deuce is once again wild here in the top of the third. Angels fans excited for the move to Parkway Crossing Stadium. It'll be a state-of-the-art facility located on the campus of Utah Valley State College as Giannotti swings and misses for strike 3. So Ornduff picks up 2 strikeouts. The Angels go down in order. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. Nothing ball game. back to a very lively Lindquist Field in Ogden, Utah, home of the Ogden Raptors, the Angels' foe here tonight in the last regular season game of 2004. The Angels, of course, qualifying for the playoffs. We'll head to Idaho Falls to get those underway tomorrow night. Leading things off for the Raptors here in the top of the third is Dan Batts. Batts on the year, .337 with 3 home runs and 28 RBIs, looks at ball 1. Shear, 2 perfect innings, 2 no-hit innings, misses the outside corner, 2 balls and no strike. He did issue a leadoff walk to David Nicholson, however, picked him off in the midst of Travis Denker's strikeout at bat. The 2-0 on the way, fastball that catches the outside corner, 2-1. Batts questioning the call, visibly unhappy with it. The 2-1 on the way, just misses inside as Martinez tries to frame it. Good pitch just off the corner. 3 balls and 1 strike. Notice we have many new listeners tuning in tonight. We'd like to welcome you to tonight's broadcast. The pitch, fastball at the knees, strike 2, and Shear has battled back to make the count full. Three balls, 2 strikes, no out. The pitch, Batts goes to chase. He did go around, says Roy Proner, as he chucks his bat in disgust. Now 5 strikeouts on the night for Shearer, 3 in a row. That'll bring the lefty B.J. Richmond to the plate. Richmond, the right fielder tonight in the Raptors lineup, hitting .268 on the year with a solitary home run and 22 RBIs. The pitch is swung on and fouled back to the screen. No balls and 1 strike. Richmond, a 6'3", 390-pound product out of Gastonia, North Carolina, picked in the 7th round of this year's amateur draft. The pitch is lifted into left center field. That's going to go to the wall. That'll bounce high off the wall. Giannotti plays it on the hop to throw into second base. Not in time as Richmond now stands at second base with the first hit of the night. So with 1 out, the Raptors pick up a double. That'll bring Mike Lynch to the plate. Lynch, a catcher out of Oak Forest, Illinois, was acquired in the 2001 amateur draft back in the 46th round. Comes into tonight's game hitting .222 with no home runs and 10 RBIs. So 1 out, a runner at second base. Now pitching from the stretch position is Kelly Shear. He misses down low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out, 1 runner on. The pitch on the way. Misses the outside corner. The snap throw down to second. Not in time as Richmond wisely slides in. Angels have caught numerous base runners asleep this year with that snap throw. Count now 2-0. Shear looks over his shoulder. Kicks in the pitch on the way. Swinging a ground ball off the glove of Nate Sun on into left field. Michael Hughes will come up with it. And the runner attempting to go to second base caught everybody asleep. And so instead of runners at first and third, the Raptors now have runners at second and third. That'll be ruled a double. So that'll bring David Nicholson up to the plate. A 0-0 ball game, 2 consecutive doubles. Have runners at second and third for the Raptors, and the first jam of the night for Kelly Shear. Shear working back from the windup. The pitch to Nicholson misses outside and low. Good job by Martinez to keep the ball in front. Martinez and Shear, of course, teammates down in Mesa, so familiar with one another and each other's style. Shear wears the number 28 for the Provo Angels. Has looked solid here at the beginning. A jam and pitch out of swing and a miss. Strike one as he challenges Nicholson with a fastball. Nicholson can't catch up. And the count now even at one apiece. So the Angels infield not drawn in. The 1-1 just misses inside, ball two. Shear gets his sign from Martinez. Kicks his leg, the pitch on the way, swinging a ground ball to Nate Sutton. Play in fair territory, the long throw across the bag. Nice scoop by Cliff Remley to get David Nicholson. Strong play all the way around as Sutton fields the ball just inside the corner of the bag. Has to throw across the head of B.J. Richmond as he was trying to shield Sutton's view to first base. The ball was short-hopped and Cliff Remley picks it right out of the dirt, and the Angels 1 out away from getting out of this jam. Impressive play by third baseman Nate Sutton and first baseman Cliff Remley. So Shear getting some backup on the defensive end. Still runners at second and third. However, 2 outs now for Travis Denker, a strikeout victim of Shear's back in the first inning. Looks at ball one outside. And the count now 1-0. Sutton, Rodriguez, LeBlanc, and Remley across the infield. The pitch just misses low. And the count now 2-0 to Denker. With Michael Hughes, Richard Giannotti, and J.R. Renz in right. The pitch high and outside, ball 3. And Shear 1 pitch away from loading the bases. Starts his windup, the 3-0. High, ball 4. So the bases loaded now for Blake DeWitt, also a strikeout victim back in the first inning. However, now with the bases loaded and 2 out, have an opportunity to put the Raptors on top here in the bottom of the third. So another one of those moments you come to Pioneer League ball for, how to pitch out of tough jams. Shear starts his windup. The lefty delivers, and the left-handed DeWitt swings and misses, strike one. Challenges DeWitt with a curveball, and DeWitt can't read the motion on the breaking ball. No balls, 1 strike. The pitch again he goes outside. This time DeWitt does not chase, and the count moves to 1-1. So a couple of doubles and a walk have loaded the bases for the Raptors here in the third inning. The pitch on the way, curveball just misses inside, ball 2. Fans and players alike waiting on the edge of their seats as Mike Lusky took his time with that call. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 out. The pitch on the way. This is outside the ball, gets by catcher Brett Martinez, and 1 run will score as Shear uncorks a wild pitch. The Raptors go on top 1-0. Runners will move up a base. Mike Lynch now stands at third, and Travis Denker is at second. So that'll be charged. The wild pitch to Kelly Shear. 1 run scores. The Raptors now lead 1-0. 3-1 count to Blake DeWitt. The pitch on the way from Shear lifted foul back over our heads and out of play. And the count will now be full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 runners on, 1 run already across for the Raptors, as Shear will look to get out of this jam without doing any more damage. Has pitched very well so far, and can really show his stuff right here. Starts his windup, the pitch on the way, misses the outside corner, not by much. But DeWitt heads to first base with The second walk of the inning and the third of the game. Zeke Zimmerman's going to run out and talk with his lefty. Good thing to do right now. We're going to take a brief pause. You're listening to SportsJuice.com, home of the Provo Angels baseball broadcast.
Our thanks to all the Supersonics for their sponsorship. Thank you, Supersonics and Mark Tyler.
Mike Lusky goes out and breaks up the conference on the hill. Shear's still in the game with bases loaded and 2 out. A 1-0 ball game for the Raptors. So they brought in one on Shear's wild pitch. So Big Bopper Corey Dunlop will step to the plate. 0 for 1 on the afternoon with a ground out. Shear starts to wind up the pitch. Is swung on and grounded down the first baseline. Foul. As Shear is now in front of Dunlap. No balls and 1 strike. Chris Westervelt in the on-deck circle. Angels off the lines and pretty much straight away in center field. So either line open for Dunlop. The pitch just misses inside, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 out, bases loaded, 1-0 ball game in favor of the Ogden Raptors. Shear shaking off Martinez, finally gets his sign, the pitch on the way. Swinging a foul tip back over home plate and out of play. And the count is now 1-2. Everybody resets, Dunlap digs back in. Shear gets his sign for Martinez. The 1-2 on the way. Swinging a line drive down the third baseline. Foul into the bleacher seats. And we'll reset. Mike Lynch is at third base. Travis Denker at second. Blake DeWitt at first. Corey Dunlap in the batter's box. The 1-2. Ground ball, line drive, hits off the batter, and that should be batter's interference. Excuse me, runner's interference. The batter is out, no run score, as Blake DeWitt tried to hop over the ball. Instead, it hits him in the ankle, so the batter is out, no run score. And the Angels head to the top of the fourth, trailing 1-0. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
Well done. Next year, the Ogden City Police Department will be stopping in front of shorthand tonight, where the only song they play the entire night is not closed.
Welcome back to Lindquist Field. Just to explain the situation that ended the third inning. Bases were loaded. Corey Dunlap hit a line drive to the right side of the infield. The ball hit base runner Blake DeWitt as he was trying to hop over the ball and head to second base. Therefore, the batter is out. He is, according to the official score, given a base hit. However, no runs score. And the Angels get out of the jam. So Kelly Shear so far pitching well, despite the last situation, has 5 strikeouts on the night through 3 innings. And the Angels only trail 1-0 despite having the bases loaded for the Ogden Raptors. The pitch on the way to Nate Sutton is down low, ball 1. Sutton 0 for 1 on the afternoon / evening with a ground out to second baseman Travis Denker. I'm still stuck on yesterday. The pitch on the way, inside, ball 2. Sutton, 7th in the league with a .454 on base percentage. Does his job well in getting on base. 2 balls, no strikes. The pitch swung on and missed. Strike 1. So if there's any change in that situation, I will find out from the official scores. But their initial reaction was that's how it'll be scored. The pitch is swung on and foul tipped off the glove of catcher Mike Lynch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now the count to Sutton. Sutton, Josh LeBlanc, and Sean Rodriguez due up here in the top of the 4th. The Angels trailing 1-0. No action in the Angels bullpen, so looks like manager Tom Kochman is going to continue to go Shear, as he should. He's pitched very well. Tom Kochman, of course, quoted in the Deseret News this morning as saying that he was extremely proud of the effort that his team showed last night, considering all the things that they went through just to get to the ballpark. The 2-2 on the way from Sutton, taken down low, ball 3. And very, very happy with how they showed up and competed and gave a full effort despite not sleeping, despite not eating well, despite being stuck in the freezing deserts of Wyoming. The pitch is lined back to the screen, and the count is 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no out. As Nate Sutton is the leadoff man here in the 4th. The Angels trail 1-0. The 3-2 on the way. Again, fouled out of play. As he continues to slap at pitches that are tough for him to hit and just does get a piece each time. We'll be joined later on in the broadcast by Glenn Orton, a man who has visited every ballpark in North America, both major and minor league. Started about 17 years ago, and this is his last ballpark on that trip. Sutton again fouls the pitch off. Once again steps into the box with a 3-2 count. The pitch from Orenduff. Taken high, ball 4. So Sutton earns a leadoff walk, and that'll bring Josh LeBlanc to the plate. LeBlanc also walked in his first at-bat. Has yet to pick up an official at-bat here in tonight's ball game. 298 with 4 home runs and 29 RBI. 4 of those RBI coming in last night's affair. And 15 stolen bases for LeBlanc as he rips the pitch into the gap in right center field. Sutton, it'll roll all the way to the wall. It gets caught in the corner of the wall. Sutton is going to be sent home. LeBlanc is going to try and stretch this into a triple. The throw is going to be in time as he is tagged out trying to stretch the double into a triple. However, the run brought home with an RBI double. Nice throw by Travis Denker. But good job by Josh LeBlanc to get things going. He picks up an RBI double, is thrown out 9-4-5 on the play for the first out of the inning. Does pick up an RBI, and the Angels have tied the score at 1 apiece. No runners on now for Sean Rodriguez, who looks at the pitch outside for ball 1. Rodriguez 0 for 1 on the evening. A pop fly to the first baseman down the first base line. Back in the first inning. Swings and lifts the pitch into shallow right field. B.J. Richmond will go over towards the line. Drifts and comes back into fair territory to make the catch. 2 out. So that'll bring Andrew Toussaint to the plate, grounded out to third baseman Blake DeWitt, and his first at bat is 0 for 1 in the afternoon. Josh LeBlanc continuing to smoke the Raptors. He loves playing here at Lindquist. The pitch is fouled back to the screen. And the count is 0-1. Toussaint, a teammate of Josh LeBlanc, and Josh LeBlanc, a teammate of Andrew Toussaint at Southern University. Looks at ball 1-1. And here teammates in the Angels organization. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch on the way from horned up, grounded to the shortstop, David Nicholson. He'll come up with it and relay to first for the third out of the inning. However, the Angels tie the score at 1 thanks to Josh LeBlanc's RBI double. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
That's a home run there in this bottom half inning. Every fan in attendance over the freeze took that courtesy of Fazoli's. The assistant take their ticket stub to the late Moroccan Fazoli's for the 24 hours. And this could be in their series. Then you can ask for a dinner this afternoon. That's what that goes out to Fazoli's for their sponsorship. For the Raptors, bottom half of the fourth inning leading off. Second man hit number 33 first, Westerveld.
Welcome back to Lindquist Field, the home of the Ogden Raptors, the host of your Provo Angels here tonight in the final regular season game of 2004. Chris Westervelt will lead things off for the Raptors. He'll be followed by Justin Ruggiano and Dan Batts. Kelly Shearer misses outside, ball 1. Angels have tied the score at 1 thanks to Josh LeBlanc's RBI double. It now gives him 5 RBIs in the last game and a half. So he's really hitting the ball well as Westervelt swings and misses for strike 1. The 1-1 from Shearer is lined foul. It bounces off of a steel post back behind the grandstand and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes now the count to Westervelt. Shearer gets his sign. The windup, the pitch on the way. Curveball that just misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The windup, the 2-2, misses barely down low, and the count moves to 3-2 as Westervelt has come back and made the count full. So 3-2, no out. We're in the the bottom of the 4th inning. The Angels and Raptors tied at 1. The pitch is fouled off down the first base side out of play. And Westervelt will reset. 3-2, no out. The pitch on the way, swinging a ground ball off the knee of Chris Westervelt. It'll be a foul ball, and we'll reset. The sun has set here at Lindquist Field. We are now officially into the late summer night of September 6th. Justin Ruggiano and Dan Batts due up here in the bottom half of the fourth for the Raptors. The pitch from Shear is lifted into the gap in right center field. It'll roll all the way to the wall. J.R. Renz will dig it out and fire it in. Westervelt now 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a leadoff double here in the fourth. And that'll bring Justin Ruggiano. Ruggiano, a strikeout victim of Shear back in the second inning, is 0 for 1 on the afternoon. So all 3 hits for the Raptors tonight have been scored doubles. Now, Richard Giannotti shaded well towards right field, almost in the gap between center and right field, as Ruggiano takes the first pitch on the outside corner, strike 1. Shear looks over his shoulder. The 0-1 swung on and missed. Beautiful slider as it tails away from the right-handed Ruggiano, and the count is now 0-2. Shear looks in, gets his sign, and steps off the mound to reset. Richard Giannotti well towards right field. J.R. Renz about 100 feet off the line, as is Mike Hughes. In the outfield, the pitch is swung on and missed, strike 3. So Shear showing some great guts here tonight at Lindquist Field, battling back to strike out Justin Ruggiano. And you gotta like the makeup of a kid who gives up a gapper and a leadoff double to one batter, then comes back and challenges the next batter and strikes him out on 3 pitches. That shows some mental toughness that the Angels will look to take advantage of in the playoffs. So 1 out, and that'll bring left fielder Dan Batts to the plate. Batts, of course, a strikeout victim himself back in the 3rd inning. Takes the first pitch on outside for ball 1. 1-0, 1 out. 1 runner on for the Raptors. He stands at second base. It's a 1-1 ball game in the bottom of the 4th inning. Shear comes set. The pitch on the way. Low, ball 2. Angels without action right now in the bullpen. They will look to get quality innings out of Shear here tonight. Shear comes set. Looks at his shoulder, the pitch, 2-0, catches the outside corner, strike 1. 2 balls and 1 strike. The count to Dan Batts. Shear looking intently for his sign from Brett Martinez. The 2-1 swung on and missed, strike 2, as he comes back with that off-speed pitch on the outside corner. Batts tried to check his swing, did go all the way around. There was no doubt about that, and the count is 2-2. So Shear doing his bit of battling to come back and even the count in his favor. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. He steps and turns towards second base. Westervelt heads back, and there is no problem. Shear comes set. Once again over his shoulder, kicks and the pitch on the way. The 2-2 swung on and missed, strike 3. Make that 7 on the night for Kelly Shear. And that'll bring B.J. Richmond. Richmond, the first hit of the night for the Ogden Raptors. Doubled back in the 3rd inning, is 1 for 1. So 2 out now with a runner at second base. The pitch from Shear, foul tipped. Strike 1. Kelly Shearer showing why the Angels organization picked him in the 14th round, showing some great stuff here. The pitch, the big curveball, misses up high, never comes down, and the count is 1-1. And if Shearer's family is listening in, be very proud of his performance tonight. Showing the kind of quality innings that Tom Kochman expects out of his bullpen and will need for a strong playoff run. The pitch is grounded down the first base line, foul. And the count moves to 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. Chris Westervelt stands at second base. The Angels and Raptors are tied at 1. Shearer comes set, looks over his shoulders. The pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. The ball is dropped by Brett Martinez. He'll step and throw to first. And Kelly Shearer has 8 strikeouts on the night. Pitch is out of a jam once again. We head to the top of the 5th. The Angels and Raptors tied at 1. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. Followed by Cliff Remley and J.R. Renz. The first pitch swung on and missed. Strike 1. Hughes 0 for 1 on the after in the evening with a strikeout. With the after evening with a strikeout. As the Angels have been held to just 1 hit. Josh LeBlanc's RBI double. The pitch catches the outside corner, and Hughes is quickly behind 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, no out. In a 1-1 ball game in the top of the 5th at Lindquist Field in Ogden, Utah. The pitch is slapped out and fouled down the first base line out of play. And Hughes will head back to the batter's box with an 0-2 count. Warren Duff starts his windup. The pitch on the way, up high, ball 1. And so far, the story on the night for the Provo Angels is pitcher Kelly Shearer, allowing only 1 run on 3 hits through 4 innings, has struck out 8, and is not done yet as Hughes swings and misses strike 3. His second strikeout of the evening, and 4th of the night for Orndorff. Bring Cliff Remley to the plate. Remley fouled out to left fielder Dan Batts to end the second inning in his first at bat. As he looks to be healed from a sore toe as he had fouled a pitch off his foot up in Casper. Looks at ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch from Orndorff again misses low and outside, and the count has moved to 2-0. Remley from the left side of the plate, playing first base tonight. Also valuable to the Angels as a left fielder and has spent time as the DH as well. He fouls the pitch back to the screen, and the count is now 2-1. Visit ProvoAngels.com to bring you stats and scores from around the last night of the Pioneer League as Remley swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt, 2-2. Falls have both clinched playoff spots up north, and Provo and Idaho Falls down in the south as the 2-2 misses outside and low, 3-2. The South will play a best-of-3 series as will the North, and then the winning teams from the North and the South will face each other in the championship round. That's how it works in the Pioneer League. And the pitch on the way from Orndorff, the 3-2 is fouled down the left field line and out of play. Count remains at 3-2. Great Falls and Missoula are tied at 3 apiece. Idaho Falls and Casper tied at 3 apiece, and Helena and Billings with Helena on top 3-1 as Remley walks. to first base. That'll be the third walk of the night for Orndorff. And bring J.R. Renz to the plate. Renz 0 for 1, a strikeout victim himself of Orndorff back in the the third inning in his first at bat. We'll also bring you some scores from around the major leagues as we head to the sixth inning. As Renz looks at a fastball, strike one on the outside corner. Orndorff, that funky stretch position. His left leg seriously is like way off towards at a 45-degree angle towards first base. The pitch, the 0-1, misses outside. Nice job by Lynch to keep it from sailing to the backstop. And the count is now even at 1 apiece. The sixth inning will be joined by Glenn Orton, the man that we've been talking about that has visited every major and minor league park throughout North America, both active and the ones that are extinct. The 1-1 instead is thrown over to first as Remley heads back safely, no problem. Ricardo Requena is up throwing for the Angels right now in their bullpen, and the Raptors have some action as well. We'll see who that is in a second. The pitch from Orndorff, swung on and missed, strike two. Renz again chases the pitch outside of the strike zone. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 runner on, a 1-1 ball game here in Ogden, Utah. Orndorff set the pitch on the way. Renz again chases the pitch out of the strike zone. He goes down on strikes for the second time tonight. Brett Martinez, who popped up to shortstop David Nicholson back in the third inning for his first plate appearance, will come to the plate 0-1. Cliff Remley at first base takes a pretty decent lead. The pitch is swung on and missed, strike one. The Angels have only had 4 base runners tonight and have only managed 1 hit against Orndorff, yet the score is tied at 1. Martinez swings and misses at a curveball, 0-2. So Kelly Shearer struck out all 3 outs back in the 4th inning. Justin Orndorff trying to do the same here in the 5th. Martinez with an open stance. The pitch is taken outside and low, ball 1. Good eye by Brett. Brett, who shares a name coincidentally with our clubhouse manager, Brett Crane. And the decision has been made that Brett Crane and Aaron Wells are the best clubby trainer tandem per capita in the Angels organization as the pitch is fouled off back over the first base side and out of play. Considering the budget that they have to work with, they do more to make the lives of these players comfortable and effective so they can just focus on playing baseball than just about any clubby trainer tandem in Angels baseball, that from Salt Lake all the way down to Provo. The pitch is swung on and grounded to Nicholson at short. He'll come up with it and throw to first for the out. So the Angels get a runner on, however, are unable to bring him across. And we head to the bottom of the 5th. It's a 1-1 ball game. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. Mike Lynch. Shortstop David Nicholson and second baseman Travis Denker due up here in the Raptors half of the fifth. It's a 1-1 ball game. 1 run on 3 hits and no errors for the Raptors. 1 run on 1 hit and no errors for the Angels. Kelly Shear back on the hill here in the fifth as he just misses the outside corner. 1 ball and no strikes. Lynch doubled back in the third inning and was stranded at third base. The pitch is lined into right field as he right now having a ball game against Shear. Raptors pick up their 4th hit of the night. And that'll bring David Nicholson to the plate. Nicholson 0 for 1 with a walk, was picked off. In the first inning. And grounded out to Nate Sutton in the third. So now 4 hits on the night for the Raptors as opposed to 1 for the Angels. Shear delivers and misses outside, ball 1. Of course, pitchers duels rare in the Pioneer League, but we are seeing the development of one right here at Lindquist Field. The pitch on the way, high and outside as the curveball never does come down. And the count is 2-0. The Angels will board the bus again tonight and head to Idaho Falls, about a 3-hour trip from Ogden. The pitch down low, ball 3. And Nicholson, who already has 1 walk on the night, is 1 pitch away from earning his second. 3-0 the count. The pitch on the way inside, ball 4. Runners now at first and second for Shear. And Brett Martinez will run out to talk to his lefty, calm him down. Carter Ricania still working in the Angels bullpen. Whoever it was that was in the Raptors bullpen down the left field line has since sat down. And we were unable to get his number, so that'll bring second baseman Travis Denker to the plate. Denker tied for the team lead with home runs at 12. He is tied with Blake DeWitt, I apologize. Runners at first and second for the Raptors. In at the corners are the Provo Angels as they look to cut off the bunt here. Raptors, one of the most potent offensive teams in the league, not likely to bunt if the pitch is outside. Ball 1. But then again, Tom Koshman's been doing this a lot longer than I have, so we'll go with what he says to do. 1 ball, no strikes, no out, 2 runners on in a 1-1 ball game. Shearer misses high and outside, ball 2, and he seems to be struggling a little bit with his control here in the 5th inning. So a 2-0 count now, 2 runners on. Travis Denker at the plate. The windup of the pitch. Lined foul down the first base line and out over the grandstand out of play. Count moves to 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. No out. Runners at first and second. Shear trying to get that first out as he swings, and the pitch is lifted into shallow center field. Richard Giannotti will make the play, and he'll come up throwing. Mike Lynch, who did not anticipate tagging, gets caught in between second and third, gets back to second without any problem. However, unable to move the runner over is Denker. And a double play will get Shear out of the inning here. Blake DeWitt will come to the plate. DeWitt has struck out and walked 0 for 1 on the evening. DeWitt from the left side of the plate. Shearer looking in intently to Martinez. Gets his sign. Comes set. The pitch. Curveball that is blocked. Nice job by Martinez to keep the ball in front and to keep the force on right now. Runners at first and second and 1 out. There is a force at any bag, and a double play will end the inning. In infield fly rule is also in effect at this point in time. As Shearer will ask for time and step off the mound. Nary an empty seat here at Lindquist Field, and the fans are being treated to a wonderful game by both pitchers. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch on the way, taken high and in, as DeWitt just does step out of the way. 2-0 now the count. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 out. Shearer comes set. The pitch is check swing, ground ball to the right side. Josh LeBlanc will come up and fire to first just in time to beat DeWitt, who was as surprised as anyone that he swung the bat. So 2 outs now. The runners advance a base. And DeWitt is put down 4-3. So Corey Dunlap will come to the plate with runners at second and third. 2 outs in a 1-1 ball game. Dunlap, who hit into a bizarre inning-ending play, did pick up a base hit in the 3rd inning, is 1 for 2. But he hit the base runner at the time. And it ended the inning without any runs coming across. So the bases were loaded at the time. Takes ball 1 down low. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 out. The pitch on the way from Kelly misses outside, ball 2. And Shearer not going to give him anything he can hit at this point. Although Chris Westervelt, who doubled in his last at bat, is due up next. Giannotti shaded a bit towards left field, about 20 feet. The pitch on the way. Curveball that catches the outside corner. Strike 1. Big pitch by Shearer. The Angels look to get out of this jam. The game is tied at 1. However, the Raptors have runners at second and third and 2 out here in the bottom half of the 5th. Shearer starts his pitch, the windup, and the delivery is a fastball that catches the inside corner. 2-2. Big fastball by Shearer. Knee high at the corners. Dunlop shakes his head in disbelief, but digs back in on the left side. Shearer starts his windup, the pitch on the way. Ground ball right back to Shearer. He'll step and fire to first, and the Angels get out of the jam. Kelly Shearer coming through once again. Gets Corey Dunlap to ground right back to him. So after 5 full innings, the Angels and the Raptors are tied at 1. We'll be back with the top of the 6th. You're listening to Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
Let's give it up for the draft plays this Sunday. So this is draft play in the top over hour. He was looking for the great play. the Angels in the 6th, they become set up pick up a 4. This is Giannotti.
The top of the order due up for the Angels here in the top of the 6th. The new pitcher on the mound for the Ogden Raptors, Brian Aiken, delivers a pitch outside and low to Richard Giannotti. Giannotti 0 for 2 on the evening with a ground out and a strikeout. Aiken 1-1 on the year with a 6.15 ERA, and the first pitch is lifted back to the wall. That's going to bounce off the famous Dave sign. Giannotti is going to leg it into a sliding double. As Giannotti gets all of that one, just misses a home run by about 5 feet. And the Angels have the go-ahead run at second base. Nate Sutton will come to the plate. He'll be followed by Josh LeBlanc. Aiken in 20 games this year, a 6.15 ERA, has struck out 60, walked 21, and opponents hitting .323 against the right-hander from Louisville, Kentucky. He was drafted in the 14th round of this year's amateur draft. And the pitch to Sutton misses outside and high, ball 1. Right now, the Angels trying to give Kelly Shearer the lead as he'll head back out in the 6th inning. The pitch on the way, taken down low, ball 2, or he may not. However, if the Angels can pick up the lead here, he will be the pitcher of record. He has thrown magnificently through 5 innings, and it may sound like I'm trying to be overly congratulatory, but he has really done well considering it's his first start of the year. Sutton asks for time, and Lusky grants it to him. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Aiken comes set. The pitch is taken down low. Nice job by Lynch to keep that from going to the backstop. And the count is now 3-0. So the Raptors got their first 2 runners on base in the 5th inning. And after that, 1, 2, 3, thanks to Kelly Shearer. The pitch 3-0 misses high and outside as Aiken is all over the place. And Sutton heads to first with a walk here in the 6th inning. Sutton now 0 for 1 with 2 walks. He has also scored the Angels' only run. Angels only have 2 hits. A pair of doubles, one by Josh LeBlanc and the other by Richard Giannotti. Speaking of Josh LeBlanc, he'll step to the plate right now. He had an RBI double back in the 4th. He tried to stretch it into a triple and was thrown out. The pitch by Aiken swung on and missed, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike now to LeBlanc, who is 3 for 6 with 5 RBIs in the last, including last night. So really hitting the ball well recently. The pitch on the way, he squares to bunt. He drops it down. A nice one. The only play is to first, and Aiken will step and fire. So LeBlanc does his job and moves runners up to 2nd and 3rd. Is thrown out 1-3 on the sacrifice bunt. That'll bring Sean Rodriguez to the plate. Rodriguez 0 for 2 on the evening with a couple of flyouts. These are the guys right now that are the important players as far as the Angels are concerned coming into the playoffs. The first pitch misses outside, ball 1, as the Raptors defense is drawn into the grass, trying to prevent the go-ahead run, which now stands at 3rd base, from scoring. Guys like LeBlanc, Giannotti, Rodriguez, Toussaint, they've been the thing that has moved the Angels all year long. The ground ball to 3rd baseman Blake DeWitt is on to home. Giannotti tries to slide around the tag, and instead Mike Lynch applies it. So now runners at 1st and 3rd, but with 2 out, Giannotti has put out 5-2 on the play. For the 2nd out of the inning, Nate Sutton stands at 3rd. Sean Rodriguez at 1st, reaching on a fielder's choice. So the drawn-in infield does the job. As Giannotti thrown out at the plate. It's a questionable call as the tag was applied high and Giannotti did the hook slide, but Lusky still calls the runner out. Angels now have 1st and 3rd. Aiken comes set. The pitch to Toussaint is drilled a foul out of play, well out of play, as that probably hit the Marriott. And I was talking about those guys before. They've been the cogs all year long that have kept this Angels team going, and certainly looking to get performance out of them in the playoffs. Sean Rodriguez doesn't flinch as Aiken steps off the mound. The 0-1 to Tucson. He drills the ball down the third base line, but foul. And he is quickly behind 0-2. So Nate Sun right now represents the go-ahead run. He is 90 feet away at third base. And pitching coach Tim Kelly will jog out to meet with his young righty. Trying to discuss what pitch to throw here, because Tucson, one of the more prolific home run hitters this year in the Pioneer League, comes into tonight's game with 12. Home runs and 52 RBIs for the native of Los Angeles, California. Was a 13th round pick this year. Count now 0-2. Runners at first and third. We're in the top of the sixth of a 1-1 ball game. The pitch from Aiken, swing and a foul tip back to the screen. Tucson just does get a piece and stays alive. Ricardo Requena back up strong in the Angels bullpen. It'll be interesting to see if Shearer will start the sixth inning, or if his evening is done. Aiken steps off the mound and everybody resets. No balls, 2 strikes. 2 out. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Aiken gets the big strikeout as Tucson is way out ahead of a curveball. So the Angels get the go-ahead run to reach third base twice, are unable to bring him in. And we head to the bottom of the sixth with the Angels and the Raptors tied at 1. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. Test 1, 2, test 1, 2. See, if you want it up in the yellow, and it's down here in the low green. What I'll do is I'll just tap it back. Welcome back to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. The evening for Kelly Shearer is finished. An impressive one it was for the native of Missouri City, Texas. He went 5 complete innings, giving up only 5 hits, 1 run. That run was earned, walking 4 and striking out 8 as he looked impressive and showed the Angels they have another strong left-handed arm to pull out of the bullpen to join Kyle Kowalczyk and Anthony Whittington in the starting rotation. So the Angels will head to the bottom of the sixth in a 1-1 game. We're happy to be joined by Glenn Horton, who we've talked about is on the last stadium of his seems like decades-long tour of professional stadiums around North America. So tell me, Glenn, what is the best ballpark that you visited?
It's hard to say. A lot of major league parks are good, like Camden Yards, SBC Park in San Francisco. One of my favorites is PNC Park in Pittsburgh. And in minor league, I'd say Montgomery, Alabama is a new stadium. They did Camden Yards one better. They put a ballpark inside of a railroad warehouse. But many others, Columbus, Georgia comes to mind. It's about a 20-way tie.
Chris Wesselbrout lifts the 0-1 pitch into shallow right field. Josh LeBlanc will go over and make the catch for the first out of the inning. Ricardo Requena on the hill now for the Angels. Requena comes in on the season 2-0 with a 7.55 ERA. What are some of the things that qualify a ballpark? Because just about every ballpark now has gone to that retro style, and it's kind of hard. It's almost like that's the cookie cutter style of ballparks now. Among the retro style ballparks, what sets aside a good retro ballpark and just kind of a mediocre setup?
Well, they have to have a whole set of things. First of all, the fans have to be close to the field, and they have to be good sight lines from everywhere in the ballpark. Not all new the ballparks really are that way. Some are still a little antiseptic. For example, the ballpark in Milwaukee is very nice in terms of its accoutrements, but you still feel like you're far away from the park, and it's not as pleasant a place as, say, SBC or PNC or Camden Yards.
What's your impression of you've been doing the Pioneer League tour as Justin Ruggiano looks at called strike 3 again, tosses his bat for the second time tonight. That's Ruggiano's third strikeout of the evening. You've done the Pioneer League parks primarily this road trip. I know you were in Provo last week and up in Casper. You've been kind of trailing us along here on this road trip. What's the best park in your opinion in the Pioneer League?
Well, the ones I've seen this week, this one is. This is a wonderful park. It's got the backdrop from mountains to the Provo has too. You also have some gorgeous buildings you can see from beyond here. The fans seating is great. I like the brick architecture on the outside. I like the ballpark at Billings, which I saw a few years ago. What's that?
Long fly ball to deep left field. It bounces off of Michael Hughes' glove as he crashes into the wall. And Dan Bass will stand at second base now with a 2-out double. That'll bring B.J. Richmond to the plate. Richmond 1 for 2 on the evening with a double and also scored back in the third inning. He struck out swinging to end the fourth inning, one of Kelly Shear's 8 strikeouts on the night. Now, you look at ballparks, and people underestimate how important a good ballpark is to a community, and not only the team and how well they play, but what have you seen as you've gone throughout the country, the impact that a decent ballpark and a good location has made on the community's perception of itself?
It makes a huge difference. With a ballpark, you get people coming together. A lot of cities or small towns or even suburbs don't have a place, a community center really, a place for people to come together and celebrate something that belongs to them. And you find that more and more in minor league baseball.
The pitch is lifted into shallow left field, actually drifting back to the warning track as Michael Hughes, and he'll gather it in for the third out. So a double is wasted by the Ogden Raptors as we head to the top of the seventh. We're actually going to keep Glenn in the booth, and we'll talk to him for a few more minutes during the seventh inning. We'll be back with more Angels baseball. You're listening to Provo Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
And one last call if you're sitting in section 308C4, EA4. It's just one free. Conference halftime baseball is here 2004. It's in courtesy of Colorado. Please send a press box to close your call.
Michael Hughes will lead things off for the Provo Angels in the top of the seventh. He'll be followed by Cliff Remley and J.R. Renz. And we're talking to Glenn Horton, who is, how many years is it now that you've been doing this?
This is my 20th season.
So his 20th season tracking minor league and major league ballparks throughout North America as Hughes fouls the first pitch off down the first base line. We were talking earlier about the impact that a baseball stadium has on a community, and sometimes it's hard to measure intrinsic value, but you were sharing with us some of the insights that you've seen in your 20 years of traveling around the country.
Right. It's not just the ballpark itself. It's what I call the program. It's what the folks who are putting on the game are doing to enliven the fans, get them involved. Because the ball game itself is only about 1/3 of what happens at a baseball stadium. You have people eating, food has to be good, the service has to be right there. What goes on between the innings has to be fun. You have a really good mascot that helps. It's inventive. They're constantly changing things around. You have good personalities involved. It all contributes to a great atmosphere at a ballpark.
What started this quest to see all of the professional ballparks in North America?
Well, in '85, I went to a game in Philadelphia. I hadn't been to a game in about 15 years. I grew up on the Washington Senators. We lost twice in the 50s to Minnesota and the late early 70s to Texas. And I thought it was about time to go to a ball game again. So a bunch of us went to Philadelphia. It was about a 2-hour drive from where I live. And it was a lousy ballpark. The men had artificial turf, had 2 different colors of turf. It was horrible. It was a hot day, but we had a great time. And I'm going to see every one of these ballparks. Then 2 years later, a friend of mine took me to a minor league game in Hagerstown, Maryland, which is about an hour outside Washington. Small town, blue-collar town. And it was so down home and funky. I said, I've got to see all the minor league teams. I don't care how long it takes. Take the rest of my life. I want to see them all because every place is close to what Hagerstown was like. It's all going to be different. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's actually 20 years is a lot sooner than I thought it'd take to get to this point.
And you've got a travel partner who's been on the road with you. You also have a wife back home, is what you mentioned. Remind us of your travel partner's name and tell us a little bit about how your family has been dealing with you going every summer to these minor league parks as Michael Hughes swings and strikes out for the first out in the top of the 7th.
Well, my wife first. Lena's at home listening. Hi, Lena, how you doing? I'm doing well. She's gone about a third to 40% of the games with me. She loves going to the games. She couldn't come this week, unfortunately, but it's part of our schedule during the course of the year. My travel partner is this guy named Bob Simpson that I work with, who every year we go on a trip together somewhere or another. He has his own quirks. He's trying to collect every national park service site in America. He's about 40% done with that. And even more quirkier, he wants to drive every U.S. route from beginning to end. And he's actually done 35 to 40% of those. And so we work out a trip where we both can see national parks and drive U.S. routes and also go to ball games. And for 15 years, that's worked.
The pitch by Cliff Remley is grounded to third baseman Blake DeWitt. He fires to first and beats Remley by a step. 2 outs now here in the top of the 7th. So, Glenn, Bob can kill 2 birds with 1 stone as you're in the heart of national parks territory out here in Utah and Wyoming and Montana. As J.R. Renz, who struck out twice on the evening, steps to the plate. 0 for 2 on the night for Renz.
Yeah, we've seen 8 national parks this week. We saw 3 today. So it's 1 more than we thought. We found one we didn't know existed. So it's been a very productive trip for Bob and for me too.
As J.R. Renz looks at the 0-1 pitch as it catches the outside corner, no balls and 2 strikes. Who's your prediction on who's going to win the game here tonight?
Well, unfortunately, my track record this week is that Provo loses every game I see them in. They're the best team in the league.
Then get out of the press box.
Well, they lost to Casper 11-1 last week, and 3-0 in the rain-shortened game in Casper. And now we have them against Ogden tonight in a tie game. I'm rooting for Provo. I don't want to see them lose every game. But,
as Renz pops the 1-2 pitch up, shortstop David Nicholson has to move about 3 steps towards right field to gather it in. And the Angels go up and down in order. We head to the bottom of the 7th. We're still tied 1-1. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsNews.com, and we want to thank Glenn Orton for joining us and wish him a safe trip back home. Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
I'd like to take a second and thank all of our corporate sponsors. From A to Z, from AOL to Zions Bank, we thank all the sponsors of Raptors Baseball. All the season ticket holders, we thank you for your patronage. Special thank you to my wife, Carol, for giving me the inspiration to keep working hard every day. It's blessing me with 2 step kids.
Welcome back to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. We were lucky to talk to Glenn Orton, a man who's finished a quest of 20 years. I thought it was 17, but in 20 years to visit every major and minor league park in North America. Congratulate Glenn on that accomplishment and wish him luck in his trip back home. We are in the bottom of the 7th inning, a 1-1 tie between the Ogden Raptors and your Provo Angels. 1 run on 5 hits and no errors for the Raptors. 1 run on 2 hits and no errors for the Angels. Ricardo Requena back on the hill, and he'll fire a strike to catcher Mike Lynch. Lynch is 2 for 2 on the night with a single and a double, has failed to score on either base hit. The pitch from Requena, the 0-1, a fastball that catches the corner. No balls and 2 strikes. Jamie Douglas warming up right now in the Angels bullpen, the strong lefty from Orlando, as Lynch chases a slider, tailing away well out of the strike zone. However, Requena picks up his second strikeout of the evening, and there is 1 out now in the bottom of the 7th. David Nicholson comes to the plate. Nicholson, a pair of walks and a ground out, 0 for 1 on the afternoon/evening. Now we're into the nighttime, so it's now officially the nighttime. He looks at a fastball, strike 1. He swings and grounds the ball down the third base line, foul. And the count is quickly 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to David Nicholson. The Rocky shortstop swings and fouls the pitch out over the first base grandstand and out of play. Tonight's attendance, 5,224, as the Raptors really packed them in here tonight. Their season attendance is 133,886, a club record, as Nicholson takes the 0-2 pitch outside, ball 1. The 1-2 is swung on and missed, strike 3. As Ricardo Requena picks up his 3rd strikeout, 2nd of the inning, and that'll bring Travis Denker to the plate. Denker on the game, 0 for 2 with a walk, back in the 3rd inning. Angels getting the pitching performances tonight that they had come to expect all year long. The Angels staff is getting hot right at the right time. The first delivery to Denker misses outside, ball 1. Tonight they're led by Kelly Shearer, who threw 5 innings and struck out 8, only allowed 1 run. An impressive outing in his first start of the season, as Denker looks at a curveball, strike 1 from Requena. Angels have had the go-ahead run on third base twice and failed to bring them in. Has not derailed the pitchers. The pitch is lifted into foul territory, out over the bleacher seats down the right field line. And the count moves to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. As Denker asks for time, Ricardo Requena looking at his catcher, Brett Martinez, trying to get a sign. The pitch on the way, taken down low, ball 2. It's Requena trying to get Denker to chase something there. And Deuce is once again wild here in the bottom of the 7th. The 2-2 with 2 outs. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Requena strikes out the side. So the Angels will head to the top of the 8th in a 1-1 ball game. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
Tracy Butters and then to the press box, please. Tracy Butters to the press box. Raptors is setting birthday greeting. Happy birthday, Jerry Dowd.
So getting set to go here in the top of the 8th, Brett Martinez, Richard Giannotti, and Nate Sutton due up. Martinez 0 for 2 on the night since getting the call back to Provo. And the start tonight, he arrived in Ogden about 2.5 hours before game time. He looks at ball 1 inside, 1-0. Angels and Raptors tied at 1. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Very close ball game here. As Martinez swings and fouls the pitch back over my head and out of play. 1-1. Beautiful Lindquist Field, the jewel of the city of Ogden. The pitch again is fouled back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to count. And absolutely, a perfect late summer evening to wrap things up here in the Pioneer League as far as the regular season is concerned. The pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 3. The ball is dropped by catcher Mike Lynch. He throws to first, and Martinez almost beats it out, as Corey Dunlap was not expecting the throw. So Martinez goes down on strikes. The 8th strikeout victim of the night for the Raptors, a combined 5 from Justin Ornduff and 3 from reliever Brian Aiken. Richard Giannotti takes ball 1 down and away. Giannotti, who doubled back in the 6th inning and was thrown out at the plate on a bang-bang play in the infield, takes strike 1 on the outside corner, 1-1. Umpire asks for time as the ball found its way from the Raptors bullpen all the way into left field. Raptors pitcher number 36, Carlos Alvarez, throwing right now in their bullpen, as is Jamie Douglas in the Provo bullpen. Giannotti looks at ball 2. With 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Aiken comes set, the pitch on the way, misses outside, ball 3. So Giannotti likely to see a hitter's pitch here. Giannotti with 20 stolen bases, grounds the ball past Corey Dunlap into right field for a base hit. Dunlap just couldn't come up with that one as it rolls right underneath his glove. And Giannotti, as I was going to say, who is 3rd in the league right now with 20 steals. Now a danger on the base pass for the Angels. Mike Lynch will walk out to talk to Aiken as Nate Sutton will come to the plate. Sutton has walked twice and grounded out to second baseman Travis Denker. For 1 on the night for Sutton, who has seen his average drop here in the last 2 weeks, but continues to go out there. And mentioned something today in an article that'll be posted in the Deseret News come this Thursday. We talked about how he thought that the minor leagues would be cutthroat and that it wouldn't be a situation where guys would want to win. They would just look to get better and move up to the next rank or next level. However, Sutton has mentioned that the teamwork aspect, the teamwork of this team has been great, And Sutton, of course, part of that. As the night for Brian Aiken is finished, he comes in and holds the Angels to only 2 hits. Is responsible for the runner on first base. But we're going to see a new pitcher. We're going to take a brief pause. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. So the 5'9", 190-pound pitcher from Maracaibo, Venezuela, Carlos Alvarez will take the hill. Alvarez on the season 3-0 with a 3.34 ERA in 19 appearances. Has walked 5, struck out 36, and opponents only hitting .252 against him. Richard Giannotti stands at first base. Now Nate Sutton at the plate with 1 out in a 1-1 ball game at the top of the 8th. The first pitch to Sutton misses outside, ball 1. Alvarez comes set, kicks, and the pitch catches the outside corner. 1-1 the count to Sutton. Sutton, LeBlanc, and Rodriguez would be due up here should the Angels all reach safely. Alvarez comes set, steps and throws to first. Giannotti's back in safely. So Jamie Douglas has been alternately up and down throwing in the Angels bullpen. Right now getting a sip of water and coming back, continuing to work. It looks like he will be coming in the 8th inning. The snap throw to first almost gets away from the first baseman, Corey Dunlop, but good job to keep it from going too far. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Nate Sutton at the plate, Giannotti at first. Carlos Alvarez now on the hill for the Ogden Raptors in a 1-1 ball game. Alvarez comes set, the pitch on the way, a fastball that misses high, ball 2. Plate umpire is Mike Lusky. The field umpire is Roy Proner. Alvarez comes set, steps and throws to first. Giannotti back in, very cautious right now with the left-hander on the mound. Alvarez comes set, steps, the runner goes, the pitch out, the throw is not going to be there in time as it is wide of the bag. Good job by David Nicholson to keep it from sailing into center field. So Richard Giannotti swipes second base for his 21st stolen bag of the season. And Sutton right now is looking at a 3-1 count with the go-ahead run now in scoring position. Josh LeBlanc in the on-deck circle. The pitch from Alvarez catches the outside corner, and the count is now full. Number 35, Mark Alexander, who got the win last night in relief, is throwing in the Raptors bullpen. The pitch from Alvarez catches the outside corner, called strike 3, and Sutton goes down as the second out of the inning. That'll bring Josh LeBlanc to the plate, who is responsible in part for the only run the Angels have scored. He had an RBI double back in the fourth to drive in Sutton, who was standing at first base. So the lefty-lefty matchup as the Raptors brought in the left-hander to go off against Sutton and Josh LeBlanc. The pitch on the way is taken outside. The ball gets by the catcher, Mike Lynch. It's going to roll to the Raptors dugout and roll into the dugout. Giannotti wants to be sent home, but is stopped at third. The ball rolled into the dugout, but the umpires did not rule that he was already at third base. So Giannotti advances to third on the wild pitch, and the go-ahead run is now 90 feet away. A 1-ball, no strike count to Josh LeBlanc. LeBlanc asks for time, and Lusky grants it to him. Alvarez comes set, the pitch on the way. Curveball that looked like it was a foot outside the strike zone, instead called for strike 1. LeBlanc looks incredulously at the plate. Incredulously, yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out. Alvarez comes set, the pitch on the way, grounded down the first baseline, foul. And the Raptors 1 out away from getting out of yet another jam. Angels have brought the tying run the go-ahead run to third base 3 times in the last 3 innings. Let's see if they can bring them across here. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. The pitch gets by catcher Mike Lynch. He thinks he has the ball. He does not. And Richard Giannotti scores on the wild pitch. So the Angels take a 2-1 lead here in the top of the 8th. The count now 2-2 to Josh LeBlanc. So Giannotti gets on base, steals second, moves to third on a wild pitch, and scores on a wild pitch. The pitch to LeBlanc is lifted down the third base line. Giving chase is the left fielder and the third baseman, Blake DeWitt. They all run into the fence as the ball just makes it into the stands. The count remains 2-2. LeBlanc will head back to the batter's box. So the Angels finally get another run across the board. They now lead 2-1. We're in the top of the 8th inning, and there's 2 out with Josh LeBlanc at the plate. Good things happen when you get runners on, especially runners with the speed of Richard Giannotti. The 2-2 is swung on and missed, strike 3. So those 2 wild pitches even bigger now as the Angels are unable to drive in the run. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Angels on top, 2-1. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
Happy 21st birthday to Amy Fiskin.
now lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th. A couple of changes for the Provo Angels. One defensively as Billy Boyer will step in at short for Sean Rodriguez. Assuming he will also take his place offensively in the batter's lineup. And now on the mound for the Provo Angels is number 36, Jamie Douglas. Douglas, the lefty, coming out of the bullpen, no wins, no losses, a 9.36 ERA, 20 walks, 11 strikeouts, and opponents hitting .290 against him. He just misses the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike to Blake DeWitt. DeWitt, the lefty, is 0 for 2 with a walk. The pitch from Douglas, high and tight, ball 2. Douglas, the 3/4 delivery. A 6'4", 205-pound left-hander out of Orlando, Florida, last pitched for UCF. Was drafted in the 26th round of this year's draft. The 2-0, swinging a line drive down the line into left field. That'll fall for a base hit. That's going to roll all the way to the corner. Michael Hughes will pick it up and fire it into Billy Boyer. So Blake DeWitt taking Douglas the opposite way. Leads off the 8th with a double. That'll bring Corey Dunlap to the plate. Dunlap on the night is 1 for 3 with an inning-ending single. That sounds kind of weird, but if you were listening, you know what I'm talking about. Also a pair of groundouts. The pitch to from Douglas, a curveball taken for strike 1. Beautiful pitch from Jamie. No outs, runner at second base, the tying run on right now. The Raptors now have 6 hits on the night. Douglas comes set, looks over his shoulder. Kicks, and the pitch is swung on and fouled back over the press box and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes as Douglas came inside with a fastball and Dunlap could not catch up. No balls, 2 strikes, no out. No work right now in the Angels bullpen. Douglas looks in for a sign from Brett Martinez. The pitch on the way, swinging a high pop-up to shallow center field. Richard Giannotti is coming in. Everybody going out as there's some confusion from Boyer and Giannotti. Giannotti had originally started back and had to really hustle in to make that catch just behind second base. Boyer and Josh LeBlanc initially thought it was back farther as well and did not break on the ball. So Dunlap pops up to the center fielder for the first out of the 8th inning. That'll bring a designated hitter Chris Westervelt to the plate. Westervelt 1 for 3 on the night with a strikeout, a pop-up, and a double. Douglas comes set. The pitch down and in. Nice job by Martinez to slide over and keep that from going back to the backstop. One ball, no strikes, 1 out. Douglas set, the pitch lifted into center field. J.R. Rentz will come up, and this is not an arm you want to test. The runner is not going to test the throw as the ball skips away from Billy Boyer, but Josh LeBlanc is backing things up. And Westervelt flies out for out number 2. So DeWitt is still at second base, and that'll bring Justin Ruggiano going for 0 for 3 on the night with 3 strikeouts. Ruggiano steps into the right side of the batter's box. Douglas comes set. Kicks and delivers the pitch up high, ball 1. Ruggiano, 2 strikeouts swinging. Struck out looking in his last at bat. Douglas comes set. Kicks and delivers. The pitch looked like it should have caught the outside corner. Instead called for ball 2. And Ruggiano with a hitter's count here. The time run at second base. Jamie Douglas on the hill with 2 outs. The pitch swung on and fouled off the first base line and out of play. I hope that Douglas's family is doing well right now in Orlando, Florida, and that they're safe. Count now 2-1 to Ruggiano. 2 times tonight has struck out with an 0-2 count. And the pitch from Douglas swung on and grounded up the middle. Justin Ruggiano will drive in the tying run as Mr. Giannotti comes up with it and fires it into second. A ground ball that found its way through the middle, just past the outreach of Billy Boyer. Great pitch by Douglas. Did what it needed to do, was hit it on the ground and just out of the reach of the shortstop. So DeWitt will come around to score. The score is now tied at 2. Ruggiano stands at first with an RBI single. And that'll bring Dan Batts to the plate. Batts 0 for 2 on the night. Now the go-ahead run is at third base. At first base, excuse me. The pitch is grounded to the first baseman, Cliff Remley, who will just tag Justin Ruggiano, who's standing right in front of him. And we head to the top of the ninth. It's a 2-2 game. The Angels and Raptors tied. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com.
Okay, you have 6 numbers, please come up and press box. That number is 8, 1, 3, 2, 3, 5, 8, 1, 3, 2, 3, 5. Please come up and press box and go to the bars. Guys, the tennis for 9 colleges, 244, 5-2-2-4. The Angels and Raptors thank you. Half Clark is the winner of the Justice Contest. Please go down to the customer service booth to play the prize. All told, we have 2 layouts too, so we only have 36 home days. Last year we've got a franchise record in attendance of 126,706 fans. We'd like to thank all of you because now our franchise record is 133,886.
Billy Boyer will lead things off for the Angels here in the top of the ninth. Boyer will be followed by, scheduled to be followed by designated hitter Andrew Toussaint and left fielder Michael Hughes. Angels and Raptors tied at 2. We're in the top of the ninth. No one's throwing right now in the Angels bullpen, so this looks like it's going to be Douglas's to win, lose, or tie. The pitch is slapped into left field. That's going to roll all the way to the corner. Boyer's going to try and stretch it into a double, and he will do so with ease. So Billy Boyer comes in and slaps a double down the left field line, batting left-handed against the new Ogden Raptors pitcher, Mark Alexander. Alexander picking up the win last night, 3-1 on the season with a 2.90 ERA, has walked 8. Struck out 34, and opponents hitting .241 against him. So Boyer switches it up, hitting from the left side, picks up a double. And Caleb Mayer will come in to pinch hit for Andrew Toussaint. Mayer last night went 3 for 5 and had a pretty decent ball game, all things considered. Swings and misses, strike 1. Mayer was the first baseman in the Angels lineup last night. So the Angels now with the go-ahead run at second base. No balls and one strike to Caleb Mayer, the pinch hitter. Mike Lynch sets up outside, and Mark Alexander steps and turns towards second. Boyer is back in safely. The pitch from Alexander, grounded weakly. Boyer is caught in between. The throw only to first. And a close play because Alexander had to look Boyer back. Boyer is still at second base. Mayer grounds out 1-3. That'll bring Michael Hughes. Hughes has struck out 3 times tonight, 0 for 3 on the night. Hughes batting from the right side against the right-handed Alexander. Alexander comes set, kicks, and the pitch catches the outside corner, strike 1. No balls, 1 strike. So Michael Hughes, the pitch is swung on and fouled back out of play down the first base side, and the count moves to 0-2. Illy Boyer stands at second base. He represents the go-ahead run. He led the inning off with a double down the left field line. Caleb Mayer grounded out to the pitcher, unable to move the runner over. And Michael Hughes now at the plate with a 0-2 count and 1 out. The pitch misses high and outside, ball 1. Alexander trying to get Hughes to chase that pitch. Good eye by Michael Hughes. Alexander comes set. The pitch on the way. Ground ball right back to the pitcher. He looks Boyer back, and he'll flip to first. A high throw, a good job by Corey Delknap to pull it down. So Hughes grounds back to the pitcher, Alexander, who is fielding his position very well right now. And there is now 2 out in the top of the 9th. And that'll bring Cliff Remley to the plate. Remley on the night 0 for 2 with a walk. Alexander comes set. The pitch on the way. A little bloop ground ball to the shortstop, David Nicholson. Long throw across in time by just a step. So the Angels get the tying run on in scoring position. Unable to drive them in. We head to the bottom of the 9th. It's a 2-2 ball game. Raptors and Angels tied. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. BJ Richmond will lead things off for the Raptors here in the bottom of the ninth. It's a 2-2 game. Jamie Douglas on the hill. As Richmond on the night is 1 for 3 with a double. He has also scored one of the two Raptors runs. The pitch from Douglas grounded it to the first base side, but foul off the facade in front of the grandstand. And the count is 0-1. Richmond, Mike Lynch, and David Nicholson due up here in the ninth inning. The Angels had the go-ahead run at second base with no out, but were unable to bring him in. The 1-1 outside, or the 0-1 outside, ball 1 now the count. Great Falls has beat Missoula 5-3. Provo and Ogden, as you know, tied at 2. The pitch on the way, inside and tight. Ball 2. Billings on top of Helena 7-3 as they prime for the playoffs, and Idaho Falls and Casper are tied at 3 still. No change in that score. The 2-1 from Douglas popped up foul back behind home plate, and the count moves to 2-2. Crowd of over 5,000 people here at Lindquist Field cheering the Raptors on. Angels trying to spoil the night. 2-2, the pitch on the way. Line drive into left field. Michael Hughes will come on to make the play, as the Angels had Richmond played perfectly as far as defense is concerned. So Mike Lynch will now step to the plate. Lynch 2 for 3 with a single, a double, and a strikeout. To the plate against Douglas for the first time, and he first pitch swings, pops it up into shallow left field. Billy Boyer will go over and call Nate Sutton off to make the play, and there are quickly 2 out. Leadoff man David Nicholson to the plate, and Raptors fans looking to get more for their money tonight as came for the fireworks in a baseball game. David Nicholson comes to the plate, grounds the first pitch to Cliff Remley, and a 1-2-3 inning for Jamie Douglas here in the bottom of the ninth. Strong showing by the lefty as he is really coming on here late in the season. We head to the top of the 10th. It's a 2-2 ball game. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. J.R. Renz to lead things off for the Angels in the top of the 10th inning. Renz will be followed by Brett Martinez and Richard Giannotti. Renz 0 for 3 on the night. Mark Alexander still on the hill for the Raptors. And again, Renz chases a pitch out of the strike zone. No balls and 1 strike. Alexander starts the windup, and this time Renz lays off that slider, good eye, and the count is 1-1. Angels 2 runs on 4 hits and no errors. Raptors 2 runs on 7 hits and no errors. Renz swings at a fastball and misses, strike 2. So 1-2 to JR. Brett Martinez and Richard Giannotti also due up here in the 10th. Angels would like to get this game over with and get on the bus so they can get an early start to Idaho Falls as Renz takes ball 2 down and low. 2-2 now the count. Alexander starts his windup. The pitch. Renz, strike 3. Strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. Going to bring Brett Martinez, who is also 0 for 3 on the night, with a ground out, a pop-up, and a strikeout. Ben Johnson in uniform and in the dugout tonight. However, he is going to be held out of the ball game due to his back. Martinez looks at ball 1 down and away, excuse me. Alexander starts his windup. The pitch on the way is lined into right field. That's going to be cut off from rolling into the corner by left fielder B.J. Richmond. However, with 1 out, Brett Martinez gets things going here in the top of the 10th. That'll bring Richard Giannotti to the plate. Giannotti, who singled and scored back in the 8th, is 2 for 4 tonight with a single and a double. Batting from the left side against the right-handed pitching Mark Alexander. Brett Martinez was caught off the bag, but a hesitant throw from Mike Lynch allows him to dive back in safely. Giannotti squared the bunt, did not get the bunt down. And the pitch was called for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Good call by Roy Proner as he did slide in under the tag. The pitch taken down low. Nice job by Lynch to scoop it out of the dirt. And the count pulls even at 1-1. Alexander throws over to first. Martinez dives back in safely. The pitch, the 1-1, taken low and away, ball 2. As fans frustrated by the season, starting to get on the umpire here. Raptors, of course, were picked by many insiders to be the team in the Pioneer League, with a lot of guys returning from last year's squad. The 2-1, missed outside and low, ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. 1 runner on. Brett Martinez with a 1-out single. Stands at first base. Alexander steps and throws to first base as Martinez dives back in safely. Three and 1. One out. Alexander comes set. And again throws over to first. They had Martinez leading, but Dunlap Sloan applying the tag. Martinez right now represents the go-ahead run here in the top of the 10th. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2. So the count now full to Giannotti. For those of you listening in and wondering, It'll be a best-of-3 format in the first round of the playoffs. So a game tomorrow night and Wednesday night, and if needed on Thursday night at Provo. The throw over to first, not in time as Martinez steps back in. Travel day on Friday if necessary, or travel day will be on Friday. Thursday would be an off day if the Thursday game is not played. And then up north for game 1 of the championship series, Sunday of travel day and games 2, and if necessary, games 3 in Provo on Monday and Tuesday night. Richard Giannotti checks his swing and is called out on strikes for the second out of the inning. A questionable call by home plate umpire Mike Lusky. But the Ogden fans love it, and Giannotti goes down swinging for the second out of the inning. So Nate Sun will come to the plate. Sun 0 for 2 with a pair of walks. The pitch from Alexander taken on the outside corner, strike 1. The pitch misses outside. Similar spot to the strike, this time called a ball. Brett Martinez stands at first base with 2 out in the top of the 10th. The pitch from Alexander misses outside and high, 2-1. Sun from the left side of the plate against the right-handed Alexander. Everybody's straight away right now, infield and outfield. The pitch is grounded to second baseman Travis Denker. He'll step and flip to second base for the force out. So after 9.5 innings, we head to the bottom of the 10th with the Angels and Raptors tied at 2. You're listening to Provo Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. Couple of changes here in the bottom of the 10th. Tim Duff will take over. Brett Martinez still in the game catching for the Provo Angels. And Mike Perdomo will take over in left field for Michael Hughes. Jamie Douglas still on the hill for the Angels as he works into his 3rd inning. The first pitch to Travis Denker catches the outside corner, strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to Denker. Denker on the night is 0 for 3 with a walk. Nice job by Martinez to keep that pitch from going to the backstop. 1 ball and 1 strike now the count. The 1-1 Inside ball 2 as Denker steps out of the way. Nate Sutton, Billy Boyer, Josh LeBlanc, and Cliff Remley in the infield. Mike Perdomo, Richard Giannotti, and J.R. Renz in the outfield as Denker tries to check his swing at a pitch that's in the dirt. Nice delivery by Douglas to trick up the Raptors second baseman, and the count is now 2-2. The pitch is lined back up the middle for a base hit. Richard Giannotti will pick it up and fire it into Billy Boyer. So Denker, the leadoff man, gets a single. And now the winning run is on base for the Raptors here in the bottom of the 10th. Jamie Douglas, who has pitched very well tonight. And in most situations would have done his job for 2 innings and been taken out as a middle relief, but Kochman giving him a chance to perhaps pick up the win here. The pitch to Blake DeWitt taken up high, ball 1. As Raptors fans starting to get excited. Classic baseball game here tonight to end the Pioneer League season between the Raptors and the Angels. The pitch is lifted high into right center field. Giannotti will come over and make the catch for the first out of the inning. DeWitt just misses getting all of that as Giannotti makes the catch right in front of Raptor Ridge. That'll bring Corey Dunlap to the plate. Dunlap on the night 1 for 4. Douglas comes set. The pitch inside to the big guy as Dunlap steps out of the way. Travis Denker stands at first base with a leadoff single. Douglas comes set. Kicks and the pitch catches the outside corner. Strike 1. Dunlap, a ground out to shortstop. To the pitcher and a fly out to center field. His 3 outs. Also had an inning-ending single as he drilled his own base runner. Credited with a hit, but ended the inning. The 1-1 gone outside with Corey Dunlap looks at ball 2 as Douglas tried to go outside with the pitch and missed the corner. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 runner on. It's a 2-2 ball game. Douglas catches the outside corner once again, a curveball, and Dunlap is bent over at the waist, questioning the call by Mike Lusky. And the fans behind him agree. However, the count now stands at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 1 out. Douglas steps and throws to first. Denker is back in without problem. 2-2, 1 out. Douglas comes set in the stretch position. The pitch to Dunlap. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Big pitch by Douglas as he went outside, and Dunlap chased. So that's Dunlap's first strikeout of the night. And that'll bring Chris Westervelt to the plate. Westervelt 1 for 4 with a double. Also a strikeout victim of Kelly Shearer, who we forget went 5 full innings and struck out 8, only gave up 1 run. And what has been an impressive pitching performance by everyone involved, both the Angels and the Raptors. The first pitch to Westervelt misses outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 runner on. We're in a 2-2 ball game. Douglas comes set. The pitch on the way is swung on and fouled back to the screen, evening the count at 1 apiece. Provo Angels baseball, of course, brought to you by the Takas family of Pacific Palisades, California this whole season. And thanks to them and their sponsorship. Also, be sure to visit the Angels at Larry H. Miller Field on September 8th as they will host Game 2 of the Pioneer League Southern Division playoffs. The ball is grounded to shortstop Billy Boyer. He will step and fire to first, and we'll head to the top of the 11th. It's a 2-2 ball game. Jamie Douglas pitching well here in Ogden. Well, we head to the 11th inning now in a 2-2 ball game. Josh LeBlanc to lead things off for the Provo Angels. He looks at strike one on the outside corner. 0-1 now the count. The pitch is lifted into shallow center field. Justin Ruggiano first went back and now comes forward to make the catch. LeBlanc flies out to center field to start the 11th. That'll bring Billy Boyer to the plate. Boyer, 1-for-1 on the night, taking over for Sean Rodriguez in the 8th inning at shortstop. Seems like ages ago. The pitch is grounded to the first base side. Mark Alexander will handle himself and flip to first. And there are quickly two out in the 11th. And that'll bring the designated hitter Caleb Mayer to the plate. Mayer, who pinch hit for Andrew Toussaint back in the 9th inning, is 0-for-1 with a ground out. Mike Perdomo, who came into the game last inning for Michael Hughes, due up next. Mayer looks at strike one on the outside corner. The 0-1 delivered and catches the outside corner once again. 0-2 now the count to Mayer. So no balls, 2 strikes, 2 out in the top of the 11th inning. The pitch on the way, ground fouled back to the screen, and Mayer stays alive. So Mike Perdomo due up next. With Cliff Remley to follow. The 0-2 is swung on and missed, strike 3. So we head to the bottom of the 11th with the Angels and Raptors still tied at 2. You're listening to Angels Baseball on SportsJuice.com. to the bottom of the 11th now with Justin Ruggiano coming to the plate. Ruggiano on the night. 1 for 4. Jamie Douglas still on the hill. As the first pitch is lifted to deep center field, going back as Richard